everyone, it's Brandy from Brandy Burrow Astrology, back with Ellie Adams for another Forensic Astrology episode. This is kind of a part two, This is about the death of Notorious B.I.G. or Biggie Smalls, Christopher Wallace. We covered Tupac's death and the charts for that on Ellie's channel, kind of as a part one. We're kind of seeing these are maybe connected. So make sure you watch part one on Ellie's channel at Let's F with Astrology, and then watch part two and see what you guys come up with. So yeah, little, I guess, backstory. I think you got to watch part one for all the backstory, but this starts with kind of Tupac's death. Notorious B.I.G. Suppose maybe had been involved, maybe it's one of the theories, or whoever killed Tupac may have killed Biggie Smalls. Am I on the right track here? Am I saying
yeah, or Biggie Smalls may just have known,
or he may have just known. Yeah, we don't know. There's all sorts of theories here. So let me go. I'm going to pull up my facts here so I don't mess anything up, but this is what happens with Notorious B.I.G. On the evening of March 8th, 1997. So this is just about 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, Tupac. 6 months later, he is at a party, an after party for the Soul Train Awards. And this was at the Automotive Museum in LA. Fun fact, I've been there. It's a pretty cool museum. Firefighters came and shut the party down because it was overcrowded. So this is now 12:45 a.m. into the next day, technically on March 9th. Biggie is in the car with his people, with some of his bodyguards. They're leaving. They go to they stop at a red light pretty close to the museum, and a Chevy Black Impala pulls up. And this is interesting, a guy in a blue suit with a bow tie, that was in the Wikipedia description, fires into the car and shoots Notorious B.I.G. I believe 4 times. They found the 4th round to be the fatal round, and he dies within minutes. So we're going to kind of look into the charts, theories, see what we can come up with here.
There's so many echoes here with Tupac's, the 4 shots, right? Like the four hits. Tupac was hit 4 times too. Obviously the driving up and this happening is very much an echo too.
At a red light, right? They're all
yeah, exactly. Also, there are pictures of both Tupac like minutes before he died, and there's a picture of Biggie Smalls minutes before he died too. And there's something about that that's like, I don't know, there's a lot of echoes. Like, yeah, it gives me goosebumps the way it echoes.
It's weird. It's definitely weird. And I have this article pulled up just because I want to kind of run down some of these are just theories, of maybe what happened with these deaths. These are theories behind Tupac and Biggie Smalls. And so I just want to kind of run down what some of the things out there are. There's Orlando Anderson, which his name got brought up in the Tupac video quite a bit. He's in there. There's Suge Knight. His name gets brought up a lot. The LAPD even, like.
Yeah, and with them, I mean,
they apparently
with them and all of their
death row records, and
yeah, with all their fucking corruption, I wouldn't be surprised at least if they just didn't do their job very well.
Yeah. Yeah. Puff Daddy. Sean Combs. Yeah. His name gets brought up in this as well. Some think the FBI may have had him killed, so there's all these theories out there. And so we're going to look at the charts. Me and Ellie seem to think that these are connected, at least in some sort of way. So
yeah, because I remember like when I was pulling the chart for Tupac, I don't know, I just got this with the Gemini rising and that shot chart. I remember thinking, I wonder if we're gonna see some echoes in the Notorious B.I.G. charts. And sure as shit, when you sent it to me, I was like, motherfucker, like
yes,
like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So make sure you catch part 1 so that you can kind of see what's going on here. Are we ready to look at the first chart?
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure I got the right one here.
Yeah,
This
look at that.
yeah.
Look at that motherfucker. Look at that fucking ascendant. That fucking ascendant in the Tupac shot chart was like 15 something Gemini, descendant 15 something Sagittarius, and now these motherfuckers were flipped.
At 15 degrees. 15 fucking degrees. Ellie, you're known for using the F word. I'm just gonna start using it on my channel too.
It's like the best word.
It is. It's it's my natural language, so it's good. Yeah, and so now in this chart, we got the ascendant ruler of Jupiter in the 2nd house. See, again, the 2nd house is coming up.
Yep.
And we were discussing, is it money? Is it values? Is it possessions? Is it everything? But there's definitely 2nd house activity that's popping up around both of these deaths.
Yes. Yeah, which is very interesting. It makes me have questions about even things, and again, I don't, this is literally just me having questions. Not knowing if there's any validity to any of them really, but about like the who actually had the rights to their music. Kind of, I don't like, because that could be like a possession. I don't know. I don't know.
No, and from what I've read, I was trying to read like all the theories behind who could have been involved. There's theories that the record labels could have been involved to up sales, because when people die, their music starts selling crazy. It's just something that happens, and so that's valid.
Well, and also his album, right? It came out after he died, shortly after he died, Life After Death.
I believe so. I was trying to read about that. I think it was posthumous.
I mean, that's interesting, the name of it.
Yes.
I don't know. There is something kind of, and that's a great fucking album too. I mean, it is. It is. But it just, I don't know. It's interesting to have, if I am accurate about that that was what was in the works of coming out.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. It's the 2nd and final studio album by Notorious B.I.G, released on March 25th. So
like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting too. Just the name of the album.
It is definitely. And the descendant here, we now have the double-bodied sign Gemini on the descendant, which usually represents multiple people being involved.
Yeah.
Or more than one.
Yeah.
There's also a theory that this was a rivalry between the Tupac, Notorious B.I.G, like West Coast and East Coast rap. I don't know though, but the Gemini descendant is definitely like, hey, there's more than one person here.
Well, yeah, and even with that Mercury, I know that Mercury's in Pisces, but Aquarius is actually on the cusp of that 3rd house, and there is something kind of like community-like about that here.
Yeah.
Or communal, at least, in a broader sense than, I know the 3rd house can also be like local community, but the Aquarius energy kind of makes it more broad.
Like groups. Yeah,
it widens it.
It does. That 3rd house is just
that
loaded. Yeah. Which makes sense for like something happening in a car or driving, such a 3rd house type activity.
Yes.
It's also communication, and but yeah, all these, and it's all this Pisces activity, and it's intercepted.
Yeah, but there's nothing in well, I guess it'd be hard to get something in Aries right there, but there's nothing in Aquarius. It all is all in that intercepted Pisces part.
It's so wild. It's like it's so hidden. And of course, we saw interceptions in Tupac's chart as well. You know, definitely some things that are hidden, unknown. But yeah, that the third house definitely makes sense for kind of the situation scenario here. What pops out to you on this chart?
Fucking Mars.
Fucking Mars. 29 degrees. You know what? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm flipping back between episodes now. I swear Tupac wasn't it a 29-degree Mars in Cancer when he was.
Oh fuck. Why not?
I can look, but you know, you see 29-degree Mars in violence, you know, it's usually the sun or Mars is at 29 degrees when some of these events happen. It's very common.
In Virgo, it feels very feels precise. It also feels personal with Aries actually on the cusp of that fourth house.
Yeah.
Like there is a person, there's a personal element here. Something personalized.
Yeah, which I mean, if it's personal, you're not so much looking at money and stuff. I wouldn't think that's so much of a personal thing. Personal is like having something to retaliate with, right?
Yeah, there is a, yeah. And it's like, it's like the 29 degrees right on the midheaven. It just feels very like it's, you know.
Yeah. And you know, we saw fixed stars in the Tupac episode, bringing up something about justice. And of course, we got Mars getting ready to enter the sign of justice in Libra. So, yeah, you know, it's so interesting because some think that Biggie Smalls was either maybe responsible for Tupac or, like you said, maybe at least knew about it. And then some say Biggie Smalls' death was in retaliation for what happened to Tupac.
Yeah.
Just a theory out there. Just doesn't surprise me that you know, that 10th house being in the sign of Libra in justice. Like, would this support that claim? I don't know.
I think it could.
Maybe. I like to find the claims and say, okay, does the astrology support this theory?
Yeah.
I want to look up, see if there's any fixed stars on Jupiter and Mercury on this one.
Okay. I can take Mercury if you want to do Jupiter.
That's perfect because I just found 11 degrees Aquarius, which is pretty close. Persecution and even death and danger.
Okay. Okay, that okay.
Which, you know, Biggie Smalls is said to have been really worried about something happening to him.
Yes, he was concerned because of the rivalry between coasts, because of what happened to Tupac. Yes, he was. Yeah. Somebody decided to start playing a trumpet.
Nice.
Can you hear that?
I heard a little of something, but I couldn't quite tell what it was.
Sorry, everybody listening, that somebody's practicing a fucking trumpet.
Some jazz here. It's great.
Okay, so 16 Mercury is near 1519 Pisces. It is near this fixed star. Sudden success in public office, religious benefits, access to another realm. Okay. Going with this. Did anybody benefit? Really benefit?
I'm gonna do a quick search.
Because this feels like, I don't know, access to another realm. When I think about that, I think of somebody benefiting, like, and this is just where my mind goes, like somebody maybe being the one to pull the trigger that by doing this, they ended up getting a leg up somehow.
Would that, just question, would that describe a hit? Someone who's getting paid substantial money to take someone out?
Perhaps.
Or a record company benefiting off the, sales or
Well,
attention.
it is in maybe more of a group thing, since it is in Aquarius. It's not, well, the house has Aquarius on the cusp, all that shit's in Pisces, which is also not like a singular, right? Pisces energy is more about the whole. So maybe something more like that.
Mm-hmm.
You hear them?
I do. Good stuff. Thank you for the background music, Ellie.
Damn, it's like,
Really bringing it.
they had to start that shit right now. Damn. Okay. So if y'all see me laughing, that's what I'm laughing at. This goofy shit going on the street.
Love it. Love it. The Pluto in this chart being in the 12th house, we had some 12th house activity coming up in the other one too. And we were saying, hey, 12th house rules prisons, it's imprisonment, but Pluto here, there's some sort of hidden danger.
Uh-huh. There is.
Which makes me think this could have been from someone he didn't think would have been a threat or an enemy, or done by someone he wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, that seems possible. Even with all that stuff in the third house of we got Libra on the cusp of the 11th house, friends, groups, that kind of shit. Also flowing into Venus in the third. Yeah, that's seems possible too.
It feels kind of eerie. It feels like, you got all this Libra and, friends or groups but it seems so sneaky,
Sneaky or even Pisces energy is so fluid.
Yeah.
Almost not really knowing who your friends are, or
yeah,
1 minute they are, 1 minute they're not, kind of thing. Not ragging on Pisces energy, just kind of how it functions. It is so fluid. It doesn't
take form. And
yeah,
it's also what rules traditionally the 12th house. So it's another kind of 12th house energy, and 12th house is things that are hidden from us, not things that are, that we're hiding, but things are hidden from us. And it's a little disturbing. It's like,
yeah, it is.
He could have been surrounded by some people that he thought wouldn't be capable of this, or thought was on his side, or his friends. It seems a little personal.
Also that Gemini descendant, right? Gemini also, right, can kind of chameleon or shift, right?
Absolutely.
So that kind of tracks there. And with that Mercury and Pisces, that seems like it might be even more possible.
Being in the third house, which brings a little bit more Gemini energy to the table.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that. Yeah. From what I was reading, and I'm not saying this is who did it, but I think it's interesting that, in the Wikipedia articles about this anyway, it says that Sean Combs was following him, I believe, in a car.
Yes.
It's a name that's getting brought up around both these, cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was listening.
Okay. First it was coming from over here, and now it's coming from over there. It's like they're fucking calling at each other with their horns.
I know. And I'm so superstitious. I'm like, do I need to stop talking? Because is this trying to cover up what I'm saying?
No, but you're right. Like this name came up before in the other one. And again, we're not accusing, but it is, it is a, I don't know.
There's books written about this,
Yeah.
people's theories, we're not the first ones to say, but, and I definitely don't want to point the finger, without evidence. And, but yeah, it's, it just kind of, who's his friends, and I don't know, were these people really his friends,
And he, it could be that he could have questioned that himself with all that could be another reason he upped security even. Cause and who, if he had any questions about even just that.
I am going to, do you have anything else you want to say about this chart? I was going to go to the death chart, which is actually very similar.
Yeah, we can go to the, we can go to that.
Probably use it if any questions arise. Now the shooting happens at 12:45 a.m. He's actually declared dead 30 minutes later. His entourage who was driving, they drove him straight to Cedars-Sinai to get him help. And I think they tried life-saving efforts. I think they actually opened his chest and were trying to stop bleeding, but there's just nothing. It was fatal wounds. So 30 minutes later, he's pronounced dead. Which is a similar chart. You got Saturn though that moves into the third house, which makes me think he probably died at the scene or was technically dead.
Well, and also in this chart, all that stuff is no longer intercepted.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, does that speak to like, okay, we don't have to hide anymore? Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously things are still hidden because this hasn't been solved, but it is like, if there were people around him that weren't really his friends, it's like, okay, we don't really have to pretend anymore. We don't have to hide.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because now for some reason it's not intercepted. There is an indication of maybe kind of feeling safe in the open. Maybe, I don't know if that's,
or being chameleon enough to be able to do that or something.
Yeah.
Fluid enough.
So I was going to look at some fixed stars on this one because, we do have the ascendants changing about 6 degrees. And I just decided to wait till we were recording to look them up. So. All right. We got 20-degree Sagittarius star, just, truthful, righteous, and benevolent. So we got another indication of some justice here. Quote justice. I'm not saying I think it's justice. Yeah.
No,
I don't play by violence.
It's also close to that other one at 22.
It is. Let's look at read that one.
Trouble with women, drugs, poisoning, hallucination, medicines, infections, mystical healing.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Especially since his wife was kind of involved in a little bit of a feud between him and Tupac, whether it was a real feud or just in music, I don't know, but.
Oh, yeah. The thing that kind of supposedly set the feud off or whatever.
Yeah. Now we got 21 Gemini, accidents, sudden dishonor. Okay. And there's another one that says inquisitiveness, open-mindedness, powerful friends. Who were his powerful friends?
That's a good damn question. Also with the other chart with that Venus intercepted and Libra on the cusp of the 10th at midheaven, that could also, I feel like, point to law enforcement too, like doing shit or not doing shit.
And I'm not saying this about anyone now, but I am saying if you watch our forensic astrology episodes, like whenever you get into these West Coast deaths, i.e. LA, kind of see It's not uncommon, you know, like,
No, and this is also something that's like, no, yeah, not, I mean, not now, but like in the past, I mean, they're kind of known for this shit.
yeah,
They're kind of notorious for this shit.
it's messy. Yeah. For sure. So when we were looking at Tupac's charts, and I know I keep bringing this up, you got to watch part 1 because there's a lot of similarities, a lot of, you know, like you said, a lot of echoes. Tupac's chart definitely looks planned. I thought anyway. What do you
Yeah.
is this with Notorious B.I.G? Does this look planned? Is this like sudden? Is this, what's your thoughts?
Go back to the other one real quick.
You got it. When the shooting happens. Here we go.
Yeah, since they're so I'm sorry, they're starting to get really
You're good. You're good.
you know, I don't really think of where the rule, I don't really think of Pisces as planning.
No, and Uranus being right by Jupiter as well.
Yeah, I don't really, but I will say this. If it wasn't planned to happen then, it was something, it was almost like an opportunity.
That's how I feel like this was offered. Maybe not planned, that's going to happen this night, but here's opportunity.
Yeah, because I mean that Jupiter Uranus thing, Aquarius actually on the cusp of the 3rd house where Mercury falls. Aquarius is like, Aquarius energy can tie into like long-term goals, which does kind of make me think that if this very well could have been a goal for whoever, but it just kind of happened to fall into their lap to be able to.
It came together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get Aquarius for like hopes and aspirations, like something.
Yeah.
I felt the same way. Like, this seems like opportunity. Like, it may not have been planned to be that night, but
yeah, it happened, that the pieces happened to fall together in just the right way at just the right time where somebody was like, okay.
Here's another thing just popped into my mind. All that 3rd house activity, and they're at a party. They were at an after party, and the person is described to have been in a blue suit and bow tie, which sounds like someone who would have been at the party, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, they're at least dressed nicely. It sounds like they were probably at the awards after party.
Yeah.
Was something said that night? Because you got the 3rd house of communications and conversation. Was something said that
sparked?
Yes, that's what I want.
That seems possible. That seems very possible. Yeah, it does. What do you think it could have been?
You know, you got Aquarius, which is not on the cusp, which is not a well-controlled energy. It's very impulsive.
Yeah.
And who knows, an after party, I'm speculating here, guys. I'm trying to like draw out a scenario that would make sense. You're drinking, you know, you're feeling good. Was something said that was either inappropriate, or was something said that where some truth came out about something?
Yeah, well, especially with Uranus conjunct Jupiter, there could be some,
which makes me think Biggie Smalls may have said, speculation, guys, speculation.
That's possible. That seems possible. Seems possible.
Yeah, because you got the 8th house ruled by that moon. You got Mercury in Pisces for the descendant. Mercury and Pisces could, not every time, could also represent not thinking straight from,
Yeah.
you know, or you got Pisces, that's alcohol sometimes.
Yeah. Alcohol or substance, some sort of, substance or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes, I don't know, the more I look at it, I'm like, what was said that night?
I
Which
wonder even
was not being planned as far as, you know.
yeah. Yeah. Very interesting stuff.
But I will say this, and I want your opinion too, you know, were these deaths connected in some way? I think so. Either surrounding people or I don't know. The flipping of the charts is crazy.
It really is, because it's not just like they're flipped and like, oh, we've got one in somewhere in Sagittarius. No, they're both at like 50. They're both at fucking 15. It's just, it's weird.
It's weird. And I did look, Mars was at 29 degrees Cancer when Tupac was shot. We both had 29-degree Mars going on, which definitely, it's the anaretic degree. It's intense. It makes people want to act impulsively.
Oh, and that Mars is also retrograde here.
Yeah, it is.
When I look at retrograde planets in a natal chart, and I realize this is in a natal chart, I do tend to kind of, because they turn the energy inward, so I do feel like they get personalized. Kind of makes it feel even more kind of personal in some way.
Yeah.
Or something like
going back to finish something sometimes too. Yeah. And just the, you know, Tupac's a Gemini. And Notorious B.I.G is a Gemini. I just want to point that out. We don't have their birth charts because there were no birth times, so we didn't really have the houses, but both Geminis. So a lot of Gemini energy with these things too. But
yeah, there is.
Yeah. I don't know if we just want to play with that idea, you know. The suns both fell in the first house of the Tupac chart. Their suns now fall in the 7th house of this chart. Kind of interesting to think about. Could be nothing, but just I don't know.
Yeah.
There we have it. There's Brandy thinking out loud. Ellie, thank you. Any final thoughts about this, or?
I definitely think they were connected.
I think so too.
I do think whoever was, I don't think the shooters were the ones that I think somebody up on high, and especially in Tupac's case, I think probably here though as well. And I kind of feel like it's probably the same person or entity or groups, the same ones.
Do you think it'll ever get solved?
Well, you know, I mean, both charts, the luminaries were on the bottom, right? In both. And yeah. So I don't know.
I'm not sure either. You know, the developments in the Tupac case, you know, with the search warrants that happened couple weeks or week and a half ago, gave me some hope. But yeah, with the luminaries at the bottom on these charts, I don't know if or, you know, the Orlando Anderson being passed away for quite some time. Maybe that's just
maybe it could be, or even, you know, the idea of these people pulling the trigger but not actually being the ones to orchestrate or order,
or maybe not knowing who was actually behind it, right?
Yes, exactly. Like you might have the shooter or one of them or whatever, but who actually had them pull the trigger or whatever. Yeah, those people or that person, I don't think will ever anytime soon anyway.
No, I think a lot of it will stay hidden and stay speculation. So
yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts and coming on once again for another big astrology episode. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Y'all can find me on YouTube at Let's F with Astrology, on my website at SaturnSeason.com, and on Instagram at Saturn Season Astrology. And thank you for having me on. Thank you for wanting to do this. And where can you be found?
Well, I can be found at brandyburrowastrology.com and Brandy Burrow Astrology on YouTube and Instagram. Make sure you guys catch Ellie's part 1 on Tupac. Thank you for watching. And you guys probably know more about this case than I do, about kind of more information. Share it in the comments, like add in some anything we left out, or you got added information. Let us know.
Yeah, because there are probably theories that we didn't even like. We probably didn't scratch the surface with the theories.
No, but I will tell you, it made me want to go buy everybody's books about this, because like when I started reading about this, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I need to read it. Like there's a bunch of people who've written books about these things and published interviews. And so, yeah, if you guys happen to know, have the Cliff Notes, type it in the comments. All right. Till next time. Thanks, Ellie.
Thank you.
See everyone later.